Hello and welcome to another episode of Boxing TV. I'm your host, professional boxing commentator Dan Hewitt. Welcome to another week. I hope you're all right. I hope you enjoyed that absolute, what time is it? I'm just going to say it anyway, shit show of what happened with Anthony Joshua yesterday. Shocking, but we'll go on to that in a second. We're going to be we're going to have 4 guests here today, and they're so different, all of them. But I'll talk to you about that in a second. Let's go to the fans. Let's see who we've got coming in already. We've got Lisa Webb. Hi, all. Hi, Dan. Looking forward to tonight's show. What a legend. Thank you for coming. I want to see and I want to hear where all of you are from, where you're from in the world. I know we get people from Africa and America and loads of wild places. So make sure you tell me where you're from. It's always interesting. Great to see, every week people turning up and saying hi. It's lovely, lovely to see you. Neil Smith, family member, very, very good professional we had on the show only a few weeks back. Hope you're well. It says evening, Dan, and hope you're doing good. Dean Beddoes from Mitras Automotive, one of our partners. Great to see you too, buddy. Jay, he's a lovely lad. Jay Bam Bam Sansom from the Lion's Den. Evening, buddy. Hope you're well. I'm really good, mate. Really good. Shrinking as the days go on. So let's say, the elephant in the room then. Anthony Joshua. Meh? I mean, really? I said last night, and I've got to be careful what I say. I have to be kind of impartial and neutral and all that kind of thing. Truth of it is, I mean, if he gets in with Wilder or if he gets in there with Fury, I was generous when I said on social media 5%. I don't think he deserves that. And I'm not knocking him, but it was on that performance. And I wish him all the best in his career. But he needs to massively improve under Derek James in order to be in a situation where he's going to be a genuine world champion again. So I'm going to introduce some of our guests today. So first of all, I'm going to introduce onto you firstly, Mr. Sean George. Now, Sean is called the Outlaw. He's a legend. He's a living legend of bare knuckle boxing. He's recently been inducted to as far as I'm aware, which we'll go into in a second, into the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame of bare knuckle boxing. There's only a few people who've even been involved in that. We also have a little bit later on Marcus Pond, who's a pit fighter. He's going into the BKB Contender Series. Looking forward to speaking of an interesting story. We have 2 massive prospects. First of all, from the stable of Matchroom. Believe it or not, it's Muhammad Ali. I mean, I've said to him a little bit earlier on, I can't tell you how hard it's been trying to do research on someone called Muhammad Ali. I mean, just think of that for a second. All I'm getting is float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, but I'm sure he's going to mark out his own path. And finally, Mr. Hamzah Ahmed, known as the poster boy. Really looking forward to speaking to him. But first of all, we're going to be bringing on a legend of bare knuckle boxing, Mr. Sean George. Check him out.
Second round. A really positive first round from Sean George. He looks really determined and focused tonight, Sean George. Stalking his man. Working on that left jab. And then, great shot. What a shot. The jab, set it up, bang.
Right hand over the top.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom.
Let's go.
Tony Lafferty. Yeah, good little clip. That was from a good clip from the Tony Lafferty fight. That was good bit of footage to kick it off, but appreciate that.
No, absolutely. Pleasure's all mine to literally have you on
awesome,
the show.
man.
It really, really is. Everybody watching and sharing, do me one little favor, press the like button. If you're on YouTube, make sure you press subscribe and make sure you give it a share. So to introduce an absolute legend of bare knuckle boxing, the Outlaw, Mr. Sean George. I'm going to ask you a question I didn't even write down, but legacy is clearly very, very important to you, and you know you deserve it.
Yeah,
you've now deserved it. How does it feel? Because we all want to do it, Sean. It doesn't matter what field we're in. We all want to be remembered as being, whether you're the best or whether you're not. Just
that's it.
You know what I mean? Everybody wants to have a legacy. How does it feel to have solidified your legacy?
It feels a little bit surreal, but obviously I know the work I put in, it just goes to show hard work pays off. But so you want something that bad, you've got to put everything into it, so. And it's paying off now. Like I said, I'm a legend, but I'm a pioneer. I heard you mention about the Hall of Fame. I'm in the Hall of Fame in the UK. Not only that, I'm in the Hall of Fame in America as well. So
wow.
massive achievement, like, you know, and my record, you know, speaks for itself. Like, I've been in there with them all, big or small. I took on them all, like, you know, 22 bare knuckle fights. Some don't even make it to double figures, if you know what I mean, you know. But like when you talk about bare knuckle, people's a bit, you know, it's like they don't know what to think about it, whether it's illegal or legal. You know what I mean? It's like a bit of stigma about it, like, you know. But you only got to tell them it's the O2 London. Obviously, they got to take your word for it then. But like obviously back in the day, it was a bit more behind closed doors and a bit unprofessional. It wasn't sanctioned and things like that. So obviously, I've been there from that to what it is now. Like I brought it your way, like, you know.
Incredible. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine being in a taxi and him saying, "Oh, having a chat along, you know, how you getting on? Yeah, good, mate." You know, he says to me, "What do you do for a living?" "Oh, I'm a bare knuckle boxer." Poo
Oh well,
yourself.
that's it, man. I
You'd
know.
be
They
like,
just think
"Oh,
we're talking. They think you're talking a bigger related to Ronnie Pickering or something.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I want to take you back to humble beginnings, and what I like about you. I am actually going to delve into more in depth some of the things that have happened in your life, because what I like doing is accepting and understanding what made you you. And it doesn't matter what point in your life. I think we could all agree, it's a lot of us anyway. If you're of a reasonable age, we've all gone through something that's
We've all got
tested
a
us.
story, but
Yeah.
a story. Like we've all got a story, and my story's what made me the person I am. Like, you know, and I'm not ashamed to speak about it.
Fantastic. So let's talk about when you were a kid. So we're talking when you were a child. You're like me. You were ginger. Never an easy
That's
thing,
right.
B. When you're a kid,
You
you always
know,
get bullied.
you know.
Yeah, I had to fight my way out of it. Trust me, I know. But still, you were bullied, weren't
Well,
you?
I'm glad you didn't say. I'm glad you said it first because that's exactly what I was going to say. But being ginger, and I did have my fair share of being bullied and all that. But I was always small. I wasn't afraid to speak my mouth and I like cheek back and whatever. So yeah, I was. I did have my fair share of bullying, like, you know. But that's what made me the person I am today. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it was just literally. It was last night. One of my friends had a young lad who wanted to get into boxing because he's been bullied at school. This was literally just last night, and I spoke to him on the phone and told him the gyms to go to and things like that. But I'm telling you now, I can't drill in enough. This day and age, or any day and age, this day and age, you get your kids in some gym, whether you want them fighting or not. They've got to look after themselves. I don't know if anybody knows this, and I haven't really told anybody. Boxing saved my life from two guys with a knife. And luckily, I give him a beating big time. But if I wasn't boxing, then I wouldn't be able to do that. And I might not have my kids now. Do you know what I mean? So if you've got kids out there, get them in the gym. I'm just going to go to some of the fans really quickly, and then we'll carry on with you. So we've got, hi, Dan. Hi, fellow viewers. Cheers to that, Leslie. Dean, correct, not good enough. Lost the fire in his belly. Yeah, Joshua, I've got to agree with you there. Neil Smith, seriously, AJ's in danger to himself. He does not need the elite matches. Sean the Outlaw, George, what a guy. They got some love coming in here. And Richard Vernon, great follower. Sean George, the GOAT of BKB. That's an hell of a status. Marty Kays, proper fighting man. Don't get much more of a fighting man than Marty Kays, that's for sure. Bowling ball head, tell you. Hit him with a brick. You sound. Right. So go on, mate. So
I do appreciate it, but you know, it's all right again, man, from all around the world. Like, I know it's awesome, but I always got time for the fans as well. So I think that's what made me at the same time, you know.
Incredible. And again, guys out there, make sure you share, make sure you like to help the stream. So let's talk about you. So you went into Muay Thai, you've been involved in MMA. I'm really interested in the story about this 8 days thing. Tell me about.
Go back to, and then, as I said, I was ginger and all. I was being bullied and all that. I did have a bit of trouble when with a gang of boys. I did, and I was outnumbered. I was, so that's what steered me into the martial arts then. And then going back, what you just said now about kids getting into it, but I wouldn't advise it any greater. I know for the discipline, the self-respect, the self-defense, you know, the respect of others, the self-respect, and all that. There's lots of wicked different aspects with it. So yeah. I'm like you, but I advise anyone to get into it. So yeah, I was bullied by a gang. I was forced to go into the martial arts. Like, it was kickboxing first. I was traveling like 25 miles to train kickboxing down in Newport with Gary Garza. I was training alongside this guy Lee Stingimo. He got a bit of a name for himself around here. Okay. And then we started the Thai boxing, and we did, like, you know, I just loved that sport. I did the bare shins, you know, the conditioning alone, but it's awesome. Like, you know, the 8 limbs and whatever, and elbows, knees, kicking and punching. So yeah, I sort of fell in love with that for many years. I did, but I was doing that alongside the MMA as well. Like, so I was a weapon, but I was fair play. And yeah, I had a couple of fights I did, and then I had the chance then to fight for the title. I did. I took an 8 days notice. And I become British Thai boxing champion. And that was just after I won 3 semi-professional MMA bouts as well. So my next step then was to go like pro in the MMA and sort of make a career out of it, you know.
I mean, I tell you what, you're an absolute machine. I mean, doing all that.
I know
Tell us
I
about
was,
going back then. Tell us about this. You said about winning the British for the in Muay Thai, which is a hell of a feat.
yeah.
But tell us about this 8 days thing and what happened there, because it's quite an interesting story.
Well, I took the fight on 8 days' notice. It was more for the money, really. I had a bit of car trouble. I did. They offered the fight to a couple of people. They turned it down. They did. Nobody wanted to fight the champion, and I said I'll do it because I've always had that mentality. Like so, I took the fight 8 days' notice. It went into the second round, and like obviously it was bare shin winning. I broke the guy's leg. I did like so. That made me the
Wow.
British champion, and but it was awesome. That fair play. It was like the highlight of my career before the day, and that will come around. You know, I still got the belt now. I have, but all the trophies and that from that chapter.
Brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Now, I want to talk
Yeah.
about some of the, let's say darker parts. But there's a reason why I'm doing it. There's a reason why I'm saying it, and there's a reason why I'm saying it at this point. Because, and I want to make this really, really.
Our story makes us better, and it's what made me.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is with you, I mean, we've all had dark parts in our life. I have. We all have, really. And it's how you come across them. And this really is to everybody out there who is struggling with stuff. Because a lot of people are struggling right now. But I want to get into your story. So you ended up in prison. I want to know what happened in order for you to go to prison. What actually happened?
Right. So as I said, I just won the British Thai boxing title. I had 3 semi-professional fights. My next step was go pro in the MMA and make a career out of it. But I hit a crossroads. I did all the things I missed out on for so many years. I started to do like, partying, clubbing, and then I got introduced to drugs then. I did and it wasn't so much about the cocaine back then. I was in later in my like party life that I got introduced to that. But obviously when I did then, it was like a downward spiral for me, but I steered further away from the fighting. I lost my job and all that I did, and then obviously I ended up in debt there. I did with one of my mates, and
from the drugs.
Yeah, from the drugs. Like, I ended up in a couple of grand debt with him, and I didn't want to rip him off. Like, so I come up with this stupid idea then to try and rob the village post office in my village. Totally out of character for me, but I got locked up the next day for it. I held my hands straight up. I was just in a dark place, but I was on the shit all the time, and I was so yeah. I went to prison then. Like, I held my hands straight up, and I had 3.5 years, and I went and they done my time. I went back to school and all that in there. I did. Got out at the earliest option, and I was destined to always go back to the gym, man, which I did. Like.
Right. Okay.
I had to hit that low point, to realize who's around me and all that, and to hit the lows to appreciate the highs, family and things like that.
When you've completely changed your life around.
I come out of prison with nothing and no one, but I had to go back home to my dad's, and I did in my little bedroom. I was on tag and that, but I had a handful of friends that stuck by me through it. But yeah, it was a tough time, man.
Yeah,
I was a nobody then at that point,
Yeah. So I mean, so this post office. I mean, when I heard what happened, the only thing I wanted to hear is what was going through your head at this point, because I can imagine if it's a village post office, it's going to be quite hard for them not know who you are. Do you know what I mean? I would have thought, even by your voice or whatever. So I mean, were you armed, or how did that come about, and what was going through your mind?
Well, like I said, it was totally out of character for me. It wasn't in my actual village. It was the next village up, so the people didn't know me. I never been in there before in my life, so obviously I don't know why I was doing it. I just thought it was easy money. I was laughing and joking about it one day, and then the next day, and I was in there, but I had petrol. I did.
Oh, bloody hell! Right.
I know. So I went in there to this elderly couple. Obviously, I didn't know that at the time, and then I threatened to burn the place down and all that. And I got away with nothing in the end, anyway. And
really, how did you get away with nothing? How did that happen?
I just couldn't get in there, but it was in like a protective glass thing, and I just couldn't. It was a door separated me and him from them, and the money, like.
Bloody hell. What was going through your head at that point? You must be completely desperate, Sean.
Yeah, I was, but to be honest, I was on drugs and all. I just felt like there was no way out,
Yeah. No, very good of you to explain. Very good of you, because it's obviously a sensitive subject,
Listen, man, I done the crime, but and I done the time for it, but I done the time, and I got out of the earliest option, but it's all behind me now. Like, if you would ask someone who I was 15 years old, that's the answer you would have got. Like, you wouldn't have got the image that I am now. Like, the champion, the loving father, full-time job and things like that. So yeah, like I said, man, it was a bad time in my life, and I turned it around. Like, it was tough. It only took me in the end as well. All the help in the world I had around me, it just took me in the end. Like,
Yeah. That's really cool of you. Really cool of you, Sean. Honestly, when you were in prison, so obviously it was 3.5. Was it 3.5 years you served then in the end?
I done 2 years of it. I did.
So because of good behaviour and all that kind of stuff, I would have thought.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have much trouble in there? Because obviously you've always been a fighter. Did you have any much trouble in prison?
I didn't really have much trouble. Like I say, 2 occasions. One was over the pool table and one was over the phone. Like, obviously, when you got trouble in there, you go in the showers and sort it out. But obviously, when you stand up to the bullies who call them in there, they just back down there and they do, like, so. But like, I had all my photos and that in my cell and that, so people knew I was. Even the officers would come in there and all that and praise me up and say I'm a waste of talent. Like, so that's what sort of got me through it. That was like, but I didn't have much trouble. People ask me that all the time, even like on the streets and like if I'm out drinking and all that, but I never get that problem. But maybe you get the odd dickhead to step to some professionals and that, but I never had it. But because I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a bit of a boy outside of the ring as well, like,
Yeah. That's just, it's interesting stuff. And again, I really appreciate how open you've been about it.
It's one thing I've never been as a bully, but I've never been a bully. I despise bullies. I do, like, I never chuck my weight around. I never shoot my mouth off. I love the fact that other people to do the talking for me, like,
Yeah, I like that. We've got some love coming in. I think people really appreciated that. And if you do appreciate it, make sure you send your comments in, because that's really cool of you. We've got Dean's. Yeah, it's nice of you, mate. So we've got Dean Beddoes says, fair play, top man. Lisa coming in with, hi, Sean. Which is the best fight you've ever had and why? Good luck for the future.
Yeah, do you want me to answer that now? I'd say
go for it.
I say that the Tyler Goodjohn fight was a good one. Like, that was 7 rounds, like, and he was like ex-English champion, ex-professional. He's going to box my head off, this and that. Like, so I say that was the best one where I stood up for myself. But going back to the early days, but I'd always have to say the Kev Bennett fight, 42 years old, boxed all his life, all through the army, ex-Commonwealth champion. All his previous opponents he put away in the first. I was the only one to take him to the final bell, but I had a fractured eye socket, a broken nose. I had concussion and I had a brain scan, like, but even though I lost, like, I had the love as if I won, like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I always put my finger on that Kev Bennett fight, but that's what made me. That was fine.
That's brilliant.
So
got another one coming from Leslie.
Man, thank you.
Bless you. So hi, Sean. Any particular moment where it hit you that the life of drugs and crime isn't for you any longer? Thanks for sharing that insight into yourself and stay safe. So yeah, kind of any particular moment when you've gone, I need to change now? Was prison that? What was it?
Yeah, it was prison, like, going to prison, being away from my family and, just waking up in that shit though, like, with nothing to no one. That was a turning point for me,
Yeah.
But I love telling my story, but because obviously I'm walking, talking proof that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
That's it.
You just gotta want to do it. But I love telling my story and to help others and raise the awareness of things like that.
Absolutely. This is I love this, Dean. We all have skeletons in our closets. Utmost respect for sharing. Yeah, absolutely. I can't thank you enough for that. It's really good of you. I want to go. The reason why I went into that though, Sean, is I want to then show people how you can turn your life around.
Yeah, so fine, but yeah.
You were there. You were then trained, and obviously for all our boxing guys out there, make sure you're all sharing. Make sure you like and appreciate that. You was trained by Nathan Cleverly, former world champion. Dad, Vince.
Yeah,
Dad,
yeah.
Which
obviously
is
you had the
pretty amazing.
Go on. Yep, his name was Vincent. It was like, obviously you had the Calzaghe and Enzo, didn't you? And then you had Nathan and his father Vincent. And I couldn't really box before that. Coming in from the MMA and the Thai boxing, I was square on, there was no head movement. It was just stand and bang. So when Vince came along, but he totally changed my game. But and we won the world title together. We won 2 of the British together, and now we did. And fair play, but he's world class, wasn't he? He's been around the world. He's probably forgot more about boxing than all of us will ever learn. He's
absolutely.
a legend, man. And for his age as well, he was 69 at the time, but in every round I was doing, he was doing with me. But Jenko would have me in the morning, strength and conditioning on the tires and things like that, and then Vince would be there waiting for me then in the evening. But we had our system going.
Incredible. I want to mention a name to you, and I don't know the full story here, but I'm sure you probably know what's coming. Dan Chapman. So you and Dan Chapman had a well-documented fight, but there still seems to be quite a lot of hate between you. Why? What happened? And where's this hate come from?
Right, so obviously he's a fellow Welshman. We and him was getting on before, like, because he was giving me a bit of advice when I fought James Kennelly in the prize fight, because he'd already fought and beat him, yeah.
Hmm.
So obviously it was all right going into that fight. Jim was looking for a 69-kilo fighter. There was a bit of like animosity saying the Welsh won't fight the Welsh, so that was my chance to prove that. So I just jumped at that idea, and then when Jim said it was Dan Chapman, I just took it on the end and thought, oh well, it's Dan Chapman. And then he just went sour from that point onwards. He deleted me off all social media. He was making pictures of me and all that, calling me Gollum and things like that. No, so that's what sort of started the animosity from the get go. That was.
Right. Okay. And during the fight between you and Dan Chapman, there seemed to be. Was there a lot of talking in there? Because it seemed after you didn't shake hands, you felt like you want to fight him again at the end of the
Well,
fight. I
listen,
mean,
man.
what happened there?
People just see me play up on the night, like, because I did try and bite him and all that, because I just didn't have the frustration. So that built up over a year. That I did. I was training to fight him, and then the COVID come around. So that went tits up. We had another date there. I trained to fight him again, and then COVID was still around. So that camp went tits up. And then I trained to fight him again, like, and I had some personal issues with my partner. She had a miscarriage, to be honest. So that camp went tits up. So by the time I fought him, I trained 5 times for him. So that took its toll on me. Like, I had to drop the weight and go up and down all the way. It was 69 kilos. I walk around 81. I do. And then, like, when I showed up then fight day, like, he shows up like roided up and all that. And I hate roid heads. I do. I've always had a thing for steroid freaks. And like, he was keeping me from the food and that. And he was all right, babe. Sorry, babe. This and that. Proper got in my head. It was tactics. It was from the
Yeah.
start. Like, so I sort of lost my head from them scales onwards. Like, and then obviously when we come to fight in the night, then he wasn't exchanging the way I wanted to. He was just boxing me. He was just hitting me with silly shots. He didn't hurt me once. He busted his hands on my head and all that. And
Yeah.
he just ducked me the whole fight and just won on points and so. And
Right.
then when I come out of the O2 then still frustrated, I did say a little remark, like, it was no racism intended, like I could have said a lot worse, but he labelled me a racist and that, and he did, so that
Okay.
just filled the fire that I did, where I didn't have the frustration out in the fight. It just all stayed inside me, and still to this day, but I don't like him, I respect him as a fighter, but that's as far as I'll go, because he did disrespect me and my family, and he just ain't what people think he is. He's a bugger.
That's a nice way to say it. It's a bugger. Yeah, I get called worse than that by my wife. Fair enough. Fair enough. So you had to retire due to a severe eye injury, didn't you?
Yeah,
And I want to,
yeah.
I want to learn a bit more about this. What happened? And what was the injury? What was let's say, the advice from medical staff?
So I had 22 bare knuckle fights, 13 wins, 7 lost, 2 draws, been in there with them all. I had the British 4 times, 4 different weights. I had the lightweight world title. I got a custom made Hall of Fame belt I have in the UK. I got the Police Gazette Corporation belt from America with bars on the back, who's unfortunately dead now, the referee. So my career was awesome, but I took some blows all for my career, like injuries and all that. But I fought Scott McHugh. I did last June, and I just knew something was wrong with my eye. Bear in mind, I always said I didn't want an injury to be the reason I had to stop, and I always mentioned an eye I did. So going back to the Scott McHugh fight, a couple of weeks after that, I was getting ready for the rematch, and I just knew something was wrong with my left eye and going out my fingers, and I just couldn't see my fingers wiggling, like I said earlier.
Right.
But I was always familiar with the Bisping story, but so something was in my head telling me like a retinal attachment, but
Okay.
I wanted to get a rematch out the way I did. I wasn't going to no opticians and that, but my missus made me. She did after complaining when we was away, and I went to the opticians, but and they confirmed I had a detached retina, probably one of the
Right.
more serious eye injuries you can have due to trauma. Obviously when you get older, it's common, but due to trauma, it's pretty major,
Yeah. I mean, you can't lose your
no,
sight. I mean,
no,
definitely. Going back to the roided thing, you said that Dan Chapman was roided. Obviously, with the sports of boxing, and
meat
kickboxing,
head,
yeah, they get
yeah.
tested. Did the BKB guys or any of the bare knuckle, not just BKB, BKFC, any of them, are any of them actually drug tested?
No, not to be honest, but no, they should bring it in.
Wow.
Obviously he could have took him, got his shape, and then stopped him, and he could have passed the test. There's ways around it, and it would have to be
Yeah.
a random surprise test, wouldn't it? So it's still a bit premature on that aspect. I know the BKFC are a bit more on top of it, but with the BKB, they haven't got around to that yet.
Yeah. I mean, Obviously,
But
it's
it's
each
cheating
to
at the
their
end of the
own.
day,
But
innit?
yeah, it's
It's
dangerous.
cheating, like, innit? It's dangerous
Yeah,
as well, like, but it is what it is. But I'm all about moving forward, not backwards now, like.
cool. So you said right to the start, and you spoke with Marcus, who's going to be speaking. I can see you back there in the studio, Marcus. I can see you too, Mohammed, and I'll be ringing you on very shortly, my friend. I can see you. But yeah, you're saying about kind of how you were always doing your job as well as doing BKB.
Yeah.
So I don't know this. How lucrative? How well does it pay it's been BKB? I mean, from the outside, it doesn't look like it'd be a huge amount of money. So where's the money coming from? The sponsors or what? I mean, how lucrative is it?
Well, like I said, I always had my full-time job, but that's something I've had to maintain to this day, all the way through my fight career. But I had to work around training and fighting. But yeah, the BKB, like it was very premature back in the day. My first one was for 500 quid. My second one then was like, 750, going up like £1,000, 15, 2 grand. The most purse I probably ever cleared is 5 grand, like,
Wow.
and then you've got like sponsors around you then,
Yeah.
you might get a few of them. Like as my image got bigger, my reputation got better. I did put a few sponsors in, but they would come and they go. Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
you'd probably clear around. I'd say the most I've cleared on a fight is about 8 grand. Like, so it's not
Yeah.
a great deal, but also I didn't really do it for the money. Like, I was building a legacy and just for the image that I was carrying. Like, I was doing it for myself and my family. Like,
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's still a sport that's coming through, isn't it? It's still a
yeah, it's
developing sport.
premature,
So
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, to be fair, and I've spoke to quite a number of fighters from BKB and BKFC. We had Connor Tierney on the show a couple of weeks ago. We've had Jimmy Sweeney on the show, Tyler Goodjohn on the show. The Lafferty was on the show a couple of years ago. So yeah, I got respect for you. You're tough men, you really are. So I want to know how you felt when you got given this blue belt. I mean, if you don't mind, could we see your belts? Because you showed us a little bit earlier, and I'd love the fans to see all of your belts. It's amazing.
So that's where it started. EBAD, UB days, British. That's a lightweight world title. Me and Vince won. Current British champion I was. That's my Sean George Hall of Fame belt. My little outlaw figure by.
That's meant that is.
That's a special one up there, that is. This is the Police Gazette Corporation belt from America, like, with bars on the back. That show was like dedicated to Bars, the referee who died.
Yeah.
And then this is the one I had last week then. Like, it's the Gem Mace. He's like a bare knuckle boxer from the 1866 years. They give me that to appreciate my achievements in the sport. Like, there's only 3 of them in circulation. So
wow,
that was a massive achievement for me. But yeah, I love that. I do loads of memorabilia and I don't know, medals. Bars' fight of the night and now he had. Just things to look back on, like,
Looking back on them though, Sean, you hear fighters all the time, not necessarily in BKB, but you hear fighters and saying, "Oh, they're just metal and leather. They mean nothing to me." I would be so proud of myself if I had something like that.
To me, they are priceless. But that's why they're in the bedroom. But yeah, I got a man cave. I was full of memorabilia, all canvases. But I want them safe and close to me. But yeah, like they'll never leave me. They won't. But that just tells my story and tells me the journey I've been on. Like, it's priceless to me. But so, people don't appreciate their belts. I appreciate them more than the money I've had. But to be honest, all that hard work and dedication, all them early mornings, sacrificing food and time with my family and things like that. Every belt tells a story, but they're irreplaceable to me. They are. And to be there from the start, like the B-Bad days, right through the UB-Bad to the BKB, like, it's like a journey, like it is going back in a time machine, but it's
incredible. Really is. And this is so good to see you talk that openly about such hardships in your life. Well, whether you call them hardships or whether you're not, but struggle, dark times in your life to look at that. And it's amazing. I really want to say this. Leslie said, can't help but notice your hoodie. Is it a charity that you're involved in or any relevance dear to you?
Yeah, though this is raising awareness for a good mate of mine who got motor neuron disease, unfortunately, So yeah, he's doing a lot for charity, even though he's battling the struggle himself. He's going out there and doing a lot for other people as well. So yeah, motor neuron defiance is called, like, you would not be defeated by it. Like, he's the most defiant person we know, and everybody come together, like the village and all that, to raise money and things like that. So yeah, he's doing really well. Like, so yeah, MND, man, it's a shocking disease, isn't it? You don't know what's around the corner, but
Yeah, it is. If a lot of people affected by it, bless them. And I wish them all the best. And great to see that you're pushing that out there, though. That's fantastic. I want to give you an opportunity here, Sean, and I want to give you the opportunity to voice the way you feel, whether that be thanking people who saw you, whether that be just a statement that you're wanting to be a bad man, you were a bad man, and you're proud of yourself. And what's your statement to the world?
I just like to say thank you for all the support, and now obviously people know me from who I was before to who I am now. Like, I know, and they appreciate it a little bit more. But I just want to thank everybody for the support. Like, and just show people like you shouldn't give up on anybody, wherever path they're on, wherever journey they're on, drugs, crime, or anything like that. You just got to be there and help them out, because one day they could turn back on the right road, but and make something of themselves. And
Yeah, absolutely. Great words from just a great champion. Sean, I just want to say, thank you so much for coming on the show. But you are, always will be a legend. And we'll keep in touch. I'm sure we'll cross paths at a show or something. So, but it's been a pleasure speaking to you, Sean. Thanks for coming on, mate.
No problem, guys. Thank you for all the support, man. Team Outlaw. Boom.
Let's go. Wow. What a story. Jeez. Wow. I love that. I love how he was just so honest with the way he was. That's I love that. I love that. George Vaylor, greetings from Laredo in Texas. George, nice to see you. Hamza, I can see you there in the background as well, mate. You'll be on it a little bit later. We're running a little bit slower because that was pretty amazing stuff. That was to hear. Let's have a look here. Dean said, great guy, true to his friends and himself. Yeah, that was ace. I love that. Really did. So my next guest now, he's got a familiar name. He's one hell of a... I tell you what, I will say, Marcus is in a different... Marcus Pond, who's going to be coming on later for the BKB contender size. It's a different thing. But Muhammad Ali and Hamza are two very, very special talents. Very, very special talents. I'm going to be bringing on now Muhammad Ali, who's got the most mint name in the world and the most hardest one to research. Check him out. On seriously talented young man, Muhammad Ali. I've always wanted to interview Muhammad Ali, and does this count?
Yeah, no, 100% it does count.
Bless your heart. Great to see you. I heard so much about you, and what I do is I've got such a big, and nobody knows this. It's just what I do. I've got such a big friends list of all the years, and up to like 15 years of doing this in boxing media. I've got an extensive list. My phone, you should see my phone records are ridiculous. But what I do is I slip through and I think, I like him. Like a bit about him. He's got a bit of something about him. So I take a screenshot on my phone and then I go about my day. And then I think, right, I'm going to get some guests in a few weeks. Let me go on my screenshots. And then I saw it in Muhammad Ali. I thought, yeah, I need to speak to this dude. He's doing well. Interesting story. And I want to say from my end is the reason I do this, and to everybody out there, lovely to see you all. Make sure your comments coming in, is so that we can really see and learn to understand the fighter that's behind the gloves. And because they're human beings, it doesn't matter how gladiatorial they are. But when you're saying that, I haven't done anything like this before, I'm a bit nervous. It's like, nah, Uncle Dan, look after you, Mohammed. I'll look after you. Promise, mate. Promise. So I want to start from the beginning. I want to learn your story. It has been a hard researcher with a name like Muhammad Ali. But what got you into boxing? What started this journey?
Right, when I was probably young. I was about 10 years old. I was a bit chubby lad, and obviously my dad got me into the gym, and I lost quite a lot of weight at only the age of 10. Okay. And then obviously with the fitness and stuff like that, it was boxing involved, and it was a fitness gym / boxing gym, and the boxing coach said to me, "You're decent at boxing. You might as well try to start." So I started, and then I had my first fight, and I loved it. And then I just kept on carrying on, and it was my dream since then.
Amazing. And one thing I do like about your story is that the way that COVID affected your career, because you were only young and obviously COVID affected it. You didn't have a fight from when you were 15 or something
Yeah,
mad. Tell me about that. How did the COVID pandemic affect your career?
yeah. So my last fight was in the it was in the national championships. I was only 15, so I was in juniors. And then I got to the semis, and they cancelled the finals because and the finals because obviously COVID had happened and everyone went into lockdown. So obviously I thought, okay, I didn't know that lockdown was going to be this long, so I carried on training, just ticking over, making sure that I'm ready and fit whenever. So then after that, it just kept being long, and then it became over a few years, and then I had an injury, and then obviously I just thought, I don't want to do amateurs no more. I wanted to turn pro because I hit 18, and then that's it. I just thought, yeah, pro's the one for me.
Okay. I mean, did you not want to go down any, Olympic or international kind of path? Did you do that already? I mean, what did you achieve?
I mean, I was a three-time multinational champion, multi-international champion. I boxed for England multiple times. I've travelled all the world to fight. I've fought some top-level lads. But yeah, I just thought, look, because obviously I've already fought in all over the world, of representing a lot of times. I just thought, yeah, I think it was ready for me to turn pro now. I just thought it was perfect opportunity for me to turn pro.
Fantastic. Similar question I asked with another debutant over in America last week, but for you, it's different. So you've been signed by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. I mean, that's like a dream to many a boxer. I can't imagine being 15 or that 15 to 18 and someone going, "Oh yeah, do you want to come with me, Eddie?" I mean, extensively talk to me about how that made you feel. You must have been over the moon.
I mean, it's anyone's dream to have that. I was over the moon. It was like the best thing that could have happened to me. Do you get what I mean? You know what I mean? You can't get better than that. You know what I mean? Opportunity to box for Matchroom, who's the biggest and well-known promoter in the world.
100%. Tell us a bit about your gym, who you train with, who trains you, where you're based.
So obviously I'm training. So Sam Jones managed to get me in touch with David Caldwell. So I'm training with him.
Great.
He's a top quality coach.
Absolutely.
Obviously the stable inside that gym as well is, it's a lot of fighters in that gym. There's not many, but most of them are around my weight. So the best sparring that you can get is all in house. It's just learning and developing every day.
Love it. I hope Sam and the team are well. And Dave Caldwell is a very, very good addition to the team. There's no doubt about that. He's a very, very, very good coach. Everybody watching, let's see where you are. Make sure you hit the like button right now. Make sure you share. Let's have a quick look here. George Vella, shares his name with the boxing legend. Yeah, he does. Yeah. Oh, God. And I will go into that in a second, to be fair, because it's quite interesting how that comes about. I mean, how hard is it having a name like Muhammad Ali? Because
I mean, look,
it took ages. I was like, you were actually the first person out of all the four I was speaking to tonight. You were the first person I thought, right, I need to tackle him first because I'm going to have to sift through so much stuff to learn it. And luckily, I found a. You must have been in a newspaper or something, and you posted it on your wall. I was scrolling down, for God's sake, and it was like, he's from Leicester. Sound right, Leicester. And then I looked, there was a couple of Muhammad Ali's on BoxRec. I thought, oh no, they were both from Britain, but then I managed to marry it up. But how hard is it? Because does it almost come with like an expectation?
Not so much. Obviously, look, he's a legend. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I'm the Muhammad Ali from Leicester. I'm the Muhammad Ali from England. I'm only 18.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've only just started my professional career. You know what I mean? If I can at least get something that he achieved in not only in boxing but in the outside, it'd be amazing. You know what I mean? You can't. He's top man. He is.
Brilliant. So for yourself, you've obviously been 15 the last time. You've been now fought as a pro and won your first fight. But during this transition into professional boxing, which whether you believe it or not, it's a different sport. It is going into, you'll sit down more on your punches, you know the deal. But before then, you didn't even you'd never wear 8 to 10 ounce gloves. You'd always wear a head guard. You'd round time situation. How hard has it been transit? Because looking then, you're clearly skillful. clearly very skillful. You can see that just in watching that little video. So how is the transition from point scoring to hurting? How's that transition been?
I mean, the thing is now, obviously, you're not boxing kids no more. You're fighting men. So it's a whole different story. You got to make sure your defense and you got to make sure you're on your A game. The way that you fight and everything's got to be on point. It's kind of like, obviously, without getting punched in that head guard, obviously, there's a massive difference, especially when you're getting punched in 8 ounces. But if your defense is good and everything's on point, it's not much of a change. Do you get what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's nice when obviously when you're boxing, you got to make sure that your skills there, everything. But yeah, that's it.
Cool. So obviously you've had your debut. Talk into that. Talk us through the fight. How did it go for you? Tell us a little bit about that.
Obviously, you know what I mean, learning the way that the pro game works. Obviously, you got your weigh-in, your press conferences, you've got your media days and stuff like that. It's going through it for the first time ever. It's like, you know what I mean, living through the dream. It was the best thing that could happen. And then obviously you had your debut. You know what I mean, your ring walkout, everyone's there screaming your name. You know what I mean, it was amazing. That was the moment.
Tell me, Mohammed, they go, Ali Boumaye. Tell me to do that.
I'll tell you now, I heard it in a fight. I think it was round 3 or 4. Oh, man. And that's when I thought, yeah, that's it.
That's ace. Amazing. What kind of support have you got? Have you got plenty of people buying tickets?
Yeah, I had a lot of people, especially because obviously I'm from Leicester, and most of them I support from the Midlands and down south. I had my fight in Newcastle, and I had a pretty good turnout. Okay. And it was like I had lads that, you know what I mean, made sure that there was loud noises in the arena. So yeah, it was good.
Fantastic, great stuff. So, who would you say is your boxing hero? Who's someone that you think I'd love to be like him or achieve what he's achieved? Who's your boxing idol?
I've got a lot of boxers. I've got a lot of boxers who I watch and who I like just study. Yeah. And so obviously you got Lomachenko. You know, I mean, his footwork, the way that he makes his angles, stuff like that. Then you got Shakur Stevenson, the way how crisp his punches. And, you know, the flashy style of, you know, the Ali shuffles, Muhammad Ali and that, you know, you got to get a bit of that in. But yeah, there's a lot of boxers. If I take, you know what it is with me, I try and take a little bit of, you know, learn something from different boxers. I try and implement it into my own boxing. If that's what's helping them become a world champion, why can't that help me? And that's why I try to learn from all of these different boxers.
I love it. How much as an inspiration does Amir Khan have on your career and you know, let's say your boxing experience?
I mean, it's a lot. Obviously, he's an Asian Muslim boxer, ex-boxer now. But yeah, it's been massive. Obviously, he opened doors for us into boxing. Do you know what I mean? Through the Olympics that he went through, only 17 and getting a silver medal in the Olympics. It's massive. So it's obviously, it allowed obviously a lot of Asian lads to get into boxing now and break the ice from just being scared of actually doing it, but actually taking it as a career. So yeah,
like it. Not a lot of people know this. Well, they know I've done it, but I interviewed Amir on the show about a year ago, and he, I think, if someone was to put me, like, I don't know, a sheet and write down my worst or my best guest or my kindest guest, I'd put him as the most nicest bloke I've met. You know, being serious, and the media make him look so stupid. Honestly, and I said that to him. I said he was so open about questions about his chin. He was so complimentary. He'd messaged me the voice message after and said, "Dan, if there's anything I can ever do for you." And I tell you one thing: don't ever hate on Amir Khan. I'm telling you, because he's a really, really nice guy, and he did pave the way for young Asian boxers. And look at it, look, loads of fantastic Asian boxers now. A really good lad I used to box with, Shabazz Masood. We boxed in the same gym when we were younger, and he's doing so well now. He's from Stoke, where I'm from, actually. In fact, so yeah, absolutely. So. If you suppose you have hit the big time, but if you hit the big time, you're getting a multi-million-pound purse here. This is a Jake Paul or a Lomachenko saying, "I'm fighting Muhammad Ali," which is a hell of a story. What's the first thing you'd buy?
I'd buy. To be honest, it wouldn't be I'd buy. I'd probably give part of that, a percentage of that purse to charity. That would be yeah. Okay. I'll probably do that, to be honest. But the first thing I would buy, probably somewhat for my parents. You know what I mean? Without them, they've helped me. You know what I mean? Massively, especially my dad and my mum. You know what I mean? My dad traveling up and down, my mum helping me. You know what I mean? With my food, dieting and stuff like that. It's been massive. So probably something for them.
Brilliant, great stuff. Let's go back to the fans then. Let's see. We've got loads here. So Dean Beddoe said the Midlands produces great boxers. It does. And I had the honour actually of the British Boxing Board of Control this week have invited me to go down for the awards to interview some of the fighters. It's a great honour to go down there. So I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't know if you're going to be there, Mohammed, but either way, it's going to be that's for the Midlands British Boxing Board of Control. It's going to be pretty amazing to do that. Paul Driscoll, hello, Dan. Good day. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you. Question here from George Vaylor over in Texas. What weight division is Muhammad Ali? He's not heavyweight this time.
No, not heavyweight. I'm super bantam.
Super bantamweight. Fantastic. And a bit of love coming in from Dean Charity family. Great thoughts. Love that. Last one. Leslie Webb. Hi, Mohammed. Do you have a boxing nickname? And if so, how did you come about it? All the very best in your career, and above all else, stay safe. So, yeah.
Does Muhammad Ali need a nickname? Now I've got to ask you that question.
Well, I did actually think about this question because I was going to ask you it. And I thought, because of your name, I was thinking like something like the Sting or something. You know, like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I think he's gone for a minute, but I'm sure. Oh, he's back. Yeah, I was thinking like the Sting or something. Like, you know, like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Just sounds quite cool.
I mean, in boxing, everyone calls me just Ali. Do you get what I mean?
Ali.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Everyone, when you're singing that as well, when you're chanting that, you know what I mean? It gives you goosebumps. So I don't really think... I mean, well, as fights get along, and then I'll see what the media and what the public think, you know what I mean? What they call me, what my style is, stuff like that. So I'd let the public give me a nickname. That's what I'd probably do.
Okay. It'll probably be the British Muhammad Ali. Neil Smith, very nice young man. This is well-spoken and humble. Great to listen to. Brilliant. Carl Creed, he's got a cool name. Love this. Oh, cheers. Love you. Thanks for that, mate. Lovely. So how far, and I say this from the start, it's hard to answer, okay? But you still will look up to the top. You're still looking at your Lomachenkos. You're still looking at your... whoever really in the sport, and you're going to be thinking, I think I could do all right with them. It's natural. How far can you go in this sport?
I reckon, obviously, with the hard work and dedication and with the right team, I reckon I could go all the way. My dream is to become a multi-weight world champion, inshallah, and hopefully I will get there. But yeah, I mean, if it's got to take that, I've got to fight them in the future. It's always been a dream of mine to fight them, so that's it. Brilliant.
Being from the boxing side rather than just the media side, I understand what needs to be said, what annoys you, what shouldn't be said. Give you an example, things like talk about sparring, that kind of thing. Don't talk about it. I know the code. And this is not this. I want to be very clear with this. This is not a call out to anyone in particular. It's not a call out to any fighter. I'm talking, what is your message to the sport of boxing and potentially your rivals? What's your message?
I'm just saying, you know what I mean, inshallah, when time's ready, I'm coming, inshallah. That's it. I'd probably say that to my rivals. You know what I mean, inshallah. Obviously, I'm only 18. And as more training comes in, as more sparring comes in, and as more fights come in, it's going to show, inshallah.
Fantastic. I just want to say really a massive thank you for coming on the show. One thing I do like doing, I love the sport of boxing. It's the reason why I do this. I'm massively passionate. It runs in my veins. I love it. So I will follow you all throughout your career. We've a really big following of nearly 250,000 people over and on several social media platforms. And I'll make sure that you'll be seen in a positive light moving forward. It's been a pleasure, real pleasure speaking to you. And I wish you all the best and you flourish in your career, mate. And do it for the... Come on, the Brits.
That's it.
See you soon. Cheers, mate. Lovely lad. I'm out with some nice guests today. If you're there, I'm going to be chucking a competition out, guys. So there's many of you in the stream right now. Make sure you press the like button and make sure you share this stream because I'm going to be picking a winner after going to be bringing Hamzah Ahmed on very soon. And then finally, bless him, he's been very patient in the back there. He's giving, yes, chat. See Marcus Pond in the back. Do you know what? I'm not going to leave you doing that. Look at him. Look at him. He's pumped in the background. Hey, you're going to fall asleep by the time I speak to you. I'll be back in a minute. So we're going to be having a they call him the poster boy. His name's Hamzah Ahmed, lovely lad. His trainer actually came to me only 2 weeks ago or so, Manning, and I thought, yeah. Do you know he's going to have his debut? Why not? I love supporting the lads coming through, as well as the champions that we know and the legends we've had on the show. But this guy, his name's Hamzah Ahmed. And I took a clip of him boxing. I'm hoping it's him now because he's got an egg guard on and make me look a bit stupid. And I was, he's laughing in the background here. But he's so skillful. Like, he is scary skillful. And I would have hated to box this kid myself. He looks horrible. Look at him. Check him out.
Yeah, with the punches close. That's it. Beautiful shot.
Stay switch, that's it. That's beautiful.
Bolo shot, fam. Bolo.
That's it, stay switch.
Tell me that's you.
Yeah, that's me, man. That's me when I was a bit younger, man.
I nearly punched my mic over there for a minute. Hamza, welcome to the show. Again, I spoke to your coach and he sung your praises, not only as a fighter, but also as a great ticket seller. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's support him. Yeah. Let's support him and give him a platform. So I want to know your story, mate. What got you into boxing? What got them gloves on for you?
So, Dan, you're right, man. Just want to say thank you for having me on the show, first of all. Obviously, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure, mate. So, basically, my story. So, obviously, I was in about year 7, so about 11, 12 years old. And to be fair, like, from my area, like, kind of everybody's like, everyone's troubled. Everyone's naughty. Like, high crime rates, high drug rates, like, all of that stuff, you know what I mean? So literally, I was just in school. I used to be very hyperactive. We used to always fight and stuff. And then my mate, he said to me, he goes, listen, why don't we just go to the gym and stuff? I thought, yeah, that's a good shout. So I went down to the gym. First day, they put me in sparring. Sparred some big, strong lad, about 10 kilos heavier than me. He's coming, hit me with the left hook, bang. He put me down. Mm-hmm. I got back up, and a lot of kids break. Like the coaches there, that's what they try doing. Like, try making you, like, putting you in, like, throwing you into the deep end. And trying to make you think, you know what, this kid really got it.
Yep.
Ever since then, I fell in love with it, I'll be honest with you. I fell in love with it, like now, like sparring 20 rounds a week, stuff like that. I fell in love with it, honestly, Dan, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Amazing.
So, yeah,
amazing.
Man, that's my story, man. Little naughty kid, used to always be in detention and stuff, and then he found his way in boxing, found love in boxing. That's my story, man. That's the way I started.
I love it. I saw and shout out to our very good friends, Boxing King Media. I saw Gull. I saw your interview with him the other day. I just thought this lad's lovely. He just seems a really nice guy. And you can see why he's so well thought of. So obviously looking at you there as an amateur, clearly a very, very talented kid. But tell us about kind of your amateur achievements. What did you achieve as an amateur?
Yeah, so I was an amateur. Like they say, I always use this comment. They say records are for DJs. When people give the amateur record, so I'll say, listen, call me a DJ because I had 60 fights, 51 wins as an amateur. So I was very dedicated.
Then, aren't you? I thought you were going to say you had losses and wins there. Please no, you'd be singing. You'd be on Radio 1, mate. Jesus.
Yeah. So 60 fights as an amateur, like 151. I've only lost to like national champions. So like I'm talking like Dante Dixon, who was assigned by Eddie Hearn, like stuff like big names. I've lost to, literally just by split decision. So when I started my amateur career, I was hitting that national level. For joke, I was fighting 4 or 5 times to win a Midlands title, winning that because I was always at a saturated weight, so I was always at like 56, 60 kg. So obviously slowly building up. I was getting loads of experience. Used to never fight on club shows because no one used to like my record, so I used to always have my fights in championships. And then like literally like I think it's like 10 Midlands titles. one British University national champion. I boxed for England as well. 2 national finals, and yeah, I've always hit that top, I've always mixed in with the good lads, but just that little push. I've always like in the national finals. Say I've always like got a split decision and lost, and I'd say that's because of my lifestyle. That's because I didn't put the work in when I was an amateur, and that's only because of my education. So with my education, I was obviously like coming from an Asian background. My dad was always like, you know what, you got to get your education in. You got to get your education in.
Plan B.
Plan B. Yeah, exactly, plan B. But he wanted it as a plan A. So I was always studying, and then I think that's why I couldn't put in my time to training. But now, ever since I turned pro, like I literally live in the gym. Like they keep a pillow there for me, because I actually sleep there.
Really?
Yeah. That's right.
Bless you. What did he try to push you into then?
So with my dad, it was always about education. You know what? Go become a lawyer. Go become this. Go become that. Like a really clever lad. You know, try doing something with your education. That's what it always was with my dad. But like he used to hide my gloves, kind of thing, when I used to never go to my revision classes. So I used to like still go to the gym, find them, still go to the gym. So I'd say like the love for sport has always been there for me.
Fantastic. So one thing I like about you is really your confidence. There's a slight delay on this, guys, so try and stick with me. Where does this come from? Where does this confidence come from?
Oh, you're not gonna believe it, mate. You're not gonna believe it. So obviously, like, you know, obviously being a boxer and stuff in school, obviously we're like kind of macho men in school. Like, you know what? Who's that guy? He's the hardest in the year, kind of thing. So I actually did A level at drama at A level, sorry, and I think that was the best decision I ever made in my life. Because like honestly, like my social skills have enhanced so much, and yeah, it was that A level at drama, and literally and honestly, like being put in uncomfortable situations, and like, you know, kind of my parents, how they brought me up was like, you know what, you're a man, and they throw me out in the deep end, like, you know what, this is life, deal with it. And I think that's what's brought a lot of my confidence in coincide with that drama at A level.
I like that. That's good. I was big into drama myself. I did loads of musicals when I was a kid. Yeah, that's really interesting. Influence of boxing: Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. What do you think of it?
Yeah. I think, to be fair, it's making the boxing game really big. To be fair, like especially like, you know, how the Saudis have introduced misfits in boxing, stuff like that. Like I think I'm not too fussed with it. Obviously people say like not real boxing and stuff, but at the end of the day, it takes a man to put gloves on. It takes a man to be boxing in front of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people on stream. You know what I mean? So I'd say it's a good thing, and you know what? Good luck to them, and well done for actually putting on the gloves. Because I know it takes a man to put on the gloves. You know what I mean? And a man to take a punch.
Absolutely. Talking about latest affairs, Anthony Joshua. What do you think of his performance last night? I was let down.
Yeah, I was just talking about it. Just obviously, we just broadcast last night. My brother and my cousins, they were talking about it. But to be fair, like I think in heavyweight boxing, we all expect this massive knockout, kind of massive story, like comeback story, like he's come back from 2 losses. But to be fair, I thought he was a bit flat. Didn't move as much. But I can't blame him, because, you know, coming back from 2 losses, then headlining, you know what I mean? Like he's got a lot of pressure on him, and plus we have to remember where he's come from. He's come from nothing, and like his kind of story is kind of similar to mine. Like I'd like to think that, and like I know how hard it is. Like he got loads of pressure, and it is hard, man. Like, you know, coming from nothing to headlining, you know what I mean? That's a big thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think he could have done better, but credit is where it's due. And at the end of the day, he was a former world heavyweight champion, so you can't knock him off for that.
Definitely not. There's a slight delay, but stay with me. It's an important question. So Amir Khan is a big inspiration to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Why? Okay, I'm going to be dead straight with you. Risky question.
Yep.
Do you think he'd be followed if he was white?
Yeah.
Do you think he'd have a bigger following?
No, I'll be honest with you, no. Because, in society, and I'm glad you asked me this question because I did sociology and social policy at Aston University and I graduated, so I'm glad you asked me this question. Um, I'd say no, because to be fair, he done so much for his country. Like, I'll be honest with you, Dan, obviously you're a white bloke, I'm a brown man. I don't see any difference between us because we're both British citizens.
Not at all.
I fly my flag, you fly your flag. We both fly, and at the end of the day, it's both white, red, and blue. It's a British flag, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's different. And at the end of the day, he was the only man in 2004 to medal for. He was the only man in boxing to go and medal for Great Britain. And I'm so glad that you brought him up because I was with him in Dubai in January, and
Lovely bloke.
a lot of people think, you know what, he's arrogant, like he's a millionaire. Honestly, he sat down next to me. I said, listen, Amir, it's my birthday. He goes, oh, and he gave me his phone. He goes, follow yourself. And then he shared my post and he goes, happy birthday. The guy's a lovely bloke. And I'll be honest with you, like, if he going back to the question where, or if he was white, would the white people follow him more? I don't think so, because we live in such a multicultural society that, you know what, everyone's forward minded, everyone's forward thinking. So what I believe, no. I actually believe no.
There's a reason why I'm asking that.
I
honestly believe he would.
What do you think?
Yeah. And the reason for that is my argument would be Ricky Hatton.
Okay.
So he, if I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Amir Khan kind of achieved more than Ricky Hatton did. And younger, potentially for longer. And he had thousands, tens of thousands going to Vegas. And even now, if you ask an average fan, who would you prefer, Khan or Hatton? They'll say Hatton is a legend. Khan's this, that, and the other. I think there's something in it. Even at this day and age, I think there's something in it. Because
to be fair, it's fair enough. But to be fair, like, kind of Ricky Hatton style, it was an amazing style. You know what? You give one, I give one, I take one. You know what I mean? I think that's what kind of captivated the fans a lot more. That's my opinion, to be fair. Dan, obviously you got your opinion, I respect it, but that's my opinion. Like with Ricky, like, he's got that, that dog style that you want to watch.
Yeah. You can, for me though, you can argue he was never in a boring fight. Do you know what I mean? I love him. I think he's absolutely incredible. So, I mean, if this gets out to you, love to you, mate. Where can we follow you?
Where can we follow you, Hamza?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Hamza Boxer, Hamza Boxer 1 on Snapchat and Facebook, Hamzah Ahmed. So that's me. And to be fair, if you wanna follow me, the only thing I'm doing in life is following my dreams, chasing my dreams. The dream is in the journey, as they say. And honestly, like, I'm living the dream because I'm on a journey to greatness. What I'd like to think. So yeah, that's where to follow me.
Let's go. And what's your message to rivals and the boxing industry? What's your message to the industry?
My message to the industry, like, I'd say obviously, like, I'm 23 years old. I didn't turn. Obviously, we had a guest on before, Muhammad Ali. He turned pro when he was 18. He's a decorated amateur. Big love and big respect to him. But I'd say I've always hit that top, but never kind of pushed and broke through because of my other commitments. But honestly, yeah, like, my message to everybody going forward now, yeah, like, don't sleep on me. I'm coming, and something big's coming.
That's what I want to hear. Absolutely fantastic. I wish you all the best in your career. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Love to the team. And good luck with everything. I'm looking forward to following it.
Thank you, Dan. Honestly, I really appreciate it, man. And honestly, the pleasure was mine. Thank you so much for having me.
Likewise, mate. Cheers.
See you later, mate. Nice one, yeah.
Top lad. Right, so we're right at the end. Make sure you share and make sure you type in that you've shared because I'm going to be picking a winner shortly. So make sure you do. Make sure you do. George Vela said women also get in the ring. They do, yeah. And I like to get the ladies on. We had a lady on last week, I believe, who won a debut, by the way, Shamara. Well done. You won your first fight as a professional over in the US. Brilliant. So we're going now on to the final guest of the evening. Make sure you press share and make sure you like the video to support it. And I'm going to be picking a winner for some merch a little bit later on. So make sure you do it. Richard Vernon says he's shared. You're in a chance of winning, matey. Cheers for that. Amazing. Letting out a bit of news. I don't normally do this, but we've got some next level guests on next week, which I think you'll enjoy. So next week, we have from the gangster scene, from the bare knuckle gangster, he looks badass guy, and his name's Matt Legg. So I'm looking forward to catching up with him. He looks really, really interesting. And also Dev Sarni, who does the announcing for BT Sport. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned for that. But now I'm going to be bringing on, I spoke with Dean Lynch Ward the other day about the BKB Contender Series. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be bringing on every week for the next 8 weeks, a contestant from the BKB Contender Series. And this guy is an interesting character. I'm looking forward to hearing a bit about him. But he started in the pits, in the pit fighting, which I love the sound of, to be honest. Sounds mint. I like do that. Just don't tell my wife. But check him out because it's a bit brutal there. Bit rope that, mate. Woo. Go on, champ. Welcome. This is Marcus Pond. Marcus is a great guy, one of the contestants at BKB Contender. Yeah, interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So I want to start with you and a completely different guest. But what got you into punching people in the face? I'm not even going to say boxing, just absolutely scrapping.
I think it's in our blood living down here in Plymouth, to be fair. We're all pirates. We're fighting the Navy down Union Street outside Jester's. It's renowned around the UK, that. So, no, I just have a passion for the sport. And it turns out I'm pretty good at it. So, yeah, I'm just going to see where it takes me. Not got a lot of time left in the ring, so to speak. 36 this year. Got it. But,
I'm me.
Yes.
I'm me.
Mate.
Thing is, though, as a commentator, I must be the youngest commentator in the world. It's all right, mate.
But yeah, no. So I got into the bare knuckle boxing really, mate, because I was bored with the boxing. I was just bored with it. It was the same old thing. It was just repetitiveness with the boxing, you know. And then I got invited to go and do some pit fighting with Sparta just before lockdown, actually, and it just completely took my breath away, you know. And like I've speaking to Sean George a minute ago, just even before I got into it, I was watching Sean George, Tyler Goodjohn. You know, I've had the pleasure of training with Toby Ward up at Torquay's Elite Community Gym, and yeah, just having a really good time with it at the moment, and going places with it. And I'm going to see what I can do with this Contender Series, really, and go and smash it, mate. And it's go hard or go home, mate. At the end of the day, you know, and I've insured my teeth.
Have you really?
No, I'm joking.
You should do, mate. It looks pretty brutal. Let's have a look at the fans here. Dean Bodo says he likes a street brawl after a night out. Wrong. Carl Creed, it looks pretty cool. His mate only started watching you tonight, but it's fantastic. Keep up the good work. Cheers, you little legend.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one. It's nice when people say this. Right.
That's my missus, I think.
Guest. Oh,
yeah, that's my brother.
Is that you with your little one?
He's over there. He's napping, napping just at the moment. I think Father's probably watching on the TV as well. So, guesty, right, mate.
Bless you. He's so proud of you as a partner, as a dad, and an all-round person. He's such an amazing man. Well done. Oh, bless you. Bless her. Andrew Bothmer says, top man, Marcus, and D. Beddoes, utmost respect. Lovely.
Go on, boys. Thank you.
So you come into the BKB Contender Series, which I'm always straight with people. Some are very positive and can't wait, and some people have questions about it. I personally don't feel there's any questions, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. But how excited are you to be involved in this BKB Contender Series?
Let's have it right. Dean Lynch Ward is a pioneer. I nearly swore that. I'm not going to do that on live TV. So, Dean Lynch Ward,
it's my show, mate, and it's past 9, so I don't care. See what's going on.
Right. What a fucking legend. But so fucking crazy guy. So Dean Lynch Ward, what a pioneer. I mean, this is never. I can't understand why it's not been thought of before. Maybe because there's been a bit of stigma around the sport of bare knuckle fighting, like Sean George said. Is it legal? Is it not legal? I believe my partner had a conversation with Jim Freeman, or one of their guys from BKB, the other day, and they said it's not legal. Well, I can assure you, it's most definitely legal because the contracts are on their way to me right now as we speak. And obviously, Dean Lynch Ward, he's got all the merchandise there, tracksuits, caps. T-shirts and such. So use a lot in Plymouth. You better be wearing the Team Pond ones. We won't sell out. All right. So shout out to all the Plymouth people. Thank you for following. Thank you for the support. But buy the tracksuits.
I love it. So this pit fighting thing. Talk to me about this pit fighting thing. So because that looks just like proper, just tear up in a phone box, John.
It's 8x8. So it's 8 foot by 8 foot. There's no hiding. There's no running. There's no dancing. It is just stand and bang. And I think in the pit fighting, you've got to be able to take a bang to give a bang. So I mean, in that video you saw there, I was fighting a big guy, and we're actually friends at the moment. He's doing really well with his recovery and stuff at the moment. So fair play to you, bro. The pit fighting, there's some really good guys. Not necessarily the best, the most attractive boxers. But there's some really tough guys in those pits, and I'll take my hat off to them completely. And there's one guy that I've been waiting patiently to fight, and that's Robbie Adamson. So if you're watching, mate, you know where I am. But yeah, so Christian Robertson, take my hat off to the guy, mate. One of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. But what an army he's got behind him, mate. And the guys over at Sparta doing crazy mad things, so fair play to him. But I think what Dean Lynch Ward's doing with this Contender Series, mate, is going to completely take over the game. Not only that, I've got a little bit of room to move around in the ring rather than the 8x8 foot bales, mate. So, but yeah, no, I will get back into the pits, mate. It gets the blood boiling, trust me. So,
I bet. I mean, how do you even get involved in something like that, though? I mean, it's not like you just fall into fighting in a pit.
No, of course. So, it was before lockdown. I got hold of a company called, I can't remember the company's name anyway. So they set me up against a German guy. It was all good, meant to be happening. I was just about to go away and fight, and then it all got cancelled. And it was just a bit of a nightmare trying to get on a show to start with. They were like, send us videos of you boxing, send us videos of you training. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, absolutely. Just sent them like fight videos away and stuff like that. And trying to pin down people, for example, like the bigger promotions, that they want professional fighters, and that's fair enough because that's where the money is, But for guys, like myself and a couple of other guys that are just blood and bone, combat sportsmen that have been in the sport their whole lives, but never really gone for the flashy professionalism of boxing or Muay Thai, or So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much about it, really.
Cool, that's cool. And so, tell us about. Are there things to achieve in pit fighting? And if you did, what did you?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, of course, yeah. It's just, if not a pride thing, it's a statement thing. I mean, if you was to ask my name in the UK, people know me as a British champion pit fighter, and it's a phenomenal sport to get into. I mean, yeah. I mean, well, I'll go across to the two difference between Dean Lynch Ward's promotion. It's 1 9-minute round. 1 9-minute round compared to your 2-minute rounds, your 3-minute rounds with a minute respite. So you're getting 50% like recovery back in the round. But with this 9-minute round, I'm up at 5:30 in the mornings, maybe 6, and I'm just flat into sprints at the moment. I mean, it's just constant uphill sprints with weighted vest on, and I'm gonna have to kind of watch my weight because I was a little bit above weight. I was 86 kilograms, so I've got to be between 70 and 80. But I was 86 kilograms last month, and I've been in the gym grafting my ass off. And I've jumped on the scales just out of curiosity the other day. I mean, we've got like 3.5 months before the fight's even start, and I'm like down to 78 kilos already. I'm like, shit. You know, if I carry on smashing the cardio, I'm gonna have to carry on eating. That's not a bad thing because I do love my food. My missus is a great cook, so
not the worst thing in the world, man. Not the worst thing in the world. Great stuff. So obviously you're going into this BKB Contender Series, and if you don't know what a Contender Series is, it's like it's almost like a reality TV show where they have teams and they fight against each other, and then it's almost like you'd see in football where they fight each other, semi-final, final kind of thing.
That's the one.
Best way of saying it.
Can you imagine living in a house with 11 other fighters, though?
That is 12, you make good content.
12 bare knuckle fighters. I'm going to buy a new pair of running trainers. I'll just spend my life out running.
I think that sounds like a good
not
idea,
getting in the mix. You know, I don't do all that trash talking bollocks. Like, do you know what I mean? And this, you know, you've got the likes of, you know, some really good guys in there. You know, you got Goffey. He's becoming a very close friend of mine. So Goffey, mate, if you're watching, mate, big respect. I hope you're safe in Thailand. You know, you got like Ben Hatchett. You know, he's a proper boy band, right? Do you know what I mean? He is a proper little boy, like he's a proper boy, like he's a little bugger, like do you know what I mean? He's a little bugger, he is. Like, do you know what I mean?
Is he the one eating? He's the one who's eating pizza.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. He's got some good banter.
He's pushing that guy. What's he doing there?
And that's
surely you're doing that.
That's my mate Irish Tommy as well. He's gone back over to Ireland to train back over in Ireland. And when you get Irish Tommy, he'd be one to watch. I'm telling you, he's a tough kid. A real tough kid. I mean, there's a couple of guys on there. You know, Stuart Anderson. I've only seen him on the bag and stuff like that. This guy can do a backflip. A standard just backflip. I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'm too old for that shit, mate.
I can't. I could do a sausage roll.
Yeah, Teddy roll at a push.
That's as far as me. Yeah. So, do you feel this pit fighting kind of background, and obviously going into bare knuckle contender? Do you think that this gives you an advantage of, you know, let's say a British pit fighting champion? I mean, surely that's like a British bloody, I don't know.
I think already
playing some of the
tennis. I think if it was me personally, and I had one fight, you know, one bare knuckle fight, and there was a guy coming in, British pit fighting champion, undefeated. You know, I'd think, fuck me, who's this guy? Like, do you know what I mean? Is this the guy to beat, kind of thing? And but I put 110% into my training. You know, and if I go in there and on that night, and if I lose, do you know what? I don't lose, I learn. You know, and I come back stronger again. And I just, yeah. I mean,
so what have you got that others haven't?
I've got the fire in me. I've got the fire in me. You know, I kind of went to the crossroads, sold my soul to the devil, and I said, look, I want this, and I'm going to go get this. You know, and figuratively speaking, we shook hands and went our separate ways, me and the devil, and here I am today. You know, I've come from humble beginnings. I'm still at home with my family. You know, I'm still trying. I'm doing this to better our lives. You know, and I'm going to do it by, if I can do it by fighting, I'll do it by fighting. If I can do it by plastering, I'll do it by plastering. If I can do it by, you know, starting a cleaning company, I'll start by a cleaning company. Everything I do is for the better of my family. You know, I've got my missus and my little boy Rome there, but I've also got 2 other children, Bobby and Bailey. And these guys are big old chaps. You know, they're big old chaps, and they you know, they cost a fortune in trainers. So, so I'm trying to make a bit of quid as well as a bit, you know, trying to make a quid as well as trying to make a name.
Let's go to the fans. So we've got Emma Burton, super proud, great person, and a great dad. Brilliant. Eva Guest, top man. You got a big group of fans here. Cheers, Dean Beddoes with shared. Cheers, matey. Leslie Webb, wishing you all the very best, Marcus.
Thank you very much.
Dean Beddoes, great lads. Stay safe, Marcus. And then we've got Edita Robel. Wow, that's a name. Clapping at Marcus. Get in. So what are your long-term goals with this bare knuckle thing? What do you want to do in your career?
So ultimately, I'm not going to give myself a time limit on fighting. So I'm going to fight until you know, if I start losing, it might be a bit of a question, but no. So I'm just going to carry on fighting until I can't fight no more. And the end goal for me is bare knuckle fighting is massive from London all the way up to Scotland, you know. But down in the southwest here, it's still Stone Age down here. No one really knows much about it, you know. And so my ultimate goal would probably be to start a promotion in the southwest for bare knuckle fighting. I mean, there are some tough lads from the city I live in, And if they were to put the dedication into their fighting, they would be, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, there's a guy down here that lives down the road, 6'8", like 20 stone. I mean, he's an absolute machine. If he was to put his time into the gym, you know, and I promise you, the gentleman I'm talking about, he looks exactly like Lenny the Governor, spitting image. You know, he's called Big Clark, like, you know, and he's a fucking absolute he's a monster of a man, but that's one of the toughest men I've ever met as well, you know. So, but it's to bring a BKB promotion down here and get the lads on it, and that would probably be good. And then obviously get my kids involved in not bare knuckles to start with, but some form of combat sport. So
100%, so important, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you win the contender series, then they're looking at pointing towards maybe BKB or BKFC. I don't know. I can't remember which one. Do you feel, if you won, how do you feel your skill set would compare to some of the elite boxers of BKB or BKFC? Because no disrespect,
most definitely, and I'll take on board what you said, but they're boxers, not bare knuckle fighters. You know, my footwork is as good as a professional boxer. You know, I feel myself personally, my boxer, if I was to put a pair of gloves on, I could go in and sit 10 rounds, happy days with a professional boxer. I'm self-preservation in my head. Like, I've got self-confidence.
God, you have to have, mate.
Put me up against the best. You put me in the ring with Tyler Goodjohn, I guarantee I'll put him on his ass in 30 seconds and it will. Don't say nothing.
Yeah, that is. I didn't say a thing, mate. No, I know Tyler. That's
he's a good guy. I just need to stop smoking weed, innit? So no good for the lungs. That Tyler, no good for the lungs. You know, puff give and all that. No.
Not particularly. And I've said this a couple of times tonight. I don't normally say this, but what is your message to each of them contestants that are going to be in the BKB contender? What's your message to them?
Good luck with your training, chaps. All the very best. Put your whole heart into it. Put 110% into your training. And it all falls down to what happens on that night. You know, train hard, fight easy, and all the very best to you lads. And no animosity on my part at all. I'm there to do the job that they're doing, and I'll just wish them all the very best. You know, Goffy, you get back from Thailand safe, mate. All right.
Very respectful of you, mate. Very, very respectful of you. I like that. Yeah. So I want to say from my end, I probably will end up seeing you at some point. I think I'm meeting up with Dean tomorrow night, actually. I don't know if he's still coming. Yeah. He's coming to Stoke. So I wish you all the best. Wish you all the luck in the world.
Yeah,
the main thing I've taken from you today, and this might sound a bit strange, is you're clearly a very good father, which makes you a much better man than anybody.
Thank you very much.
And I like it and I appreciate it. And you keep working hard on it, matey. Thanks for coming on the show. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. I don't know how much luck you can get. We can have a bad uncle. Jesus Christ. But
just before I go, can I shout out my sponsors? Is that all right?
Of course you can, mate.
Happy days. Can I shout out my sponsors? So Des Landers Plant Training. Thank you, mate. Reese Carpets and Flooring. Thank you very much, mate. AGH Carpentry. Bud Scrap Metal. Southwest Waste Management. Who else we got? Oh, and Grant's Hair. Did a sick job, bro. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Everyone in Plymouth, thank you for getting behind me. I really appreciate it. I can't thank you enough. So this is to the Plymouth Army. We didn't win at Wembley today, guys, but we'll bring this home.
Love it, mate. See you soon. Take care.
Go on, Dan. Peace, my mate.
That was cool. I like that. It's going to be quite fun over the next few weeks. They're completely different guests than what we're used to having on the show, but we'd like to support people in the new venture, so that'd be brilliant. Just going back to the fans really quickly, and I'm going to be picking a winner. Nice fella, Marcus. Yeah, he did seem like a really nice bloke. I completely agree. Great show once again, Dan Hewitt. Cheers, Neil. Thanks for watching, and everybody who watches and comments. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy now. I've come back to going live. It was my wife's idea. We went onto the TV, and the people who are new to this, we went onto the TV, and it was amazing. I cried when they told me. And I did 48 shows, 45-minute TV shows on my own, no help. I was knackered, and I did it for 2 or 3 years. Didn't do anything for me career whatsoever until my wife said, Dan, sit down, get back on with your followers. We've got nearly 250,000 of our followers, reaching something like 31 million people a month at the moment. It's mad. So to everybody out there who comments on the the different sets of information we get out there, the content that we get out there. Thank you, everybody. And I say this every single week. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all safe. Stick into your boxing and, take good care. Love you all.